A very good evening to all, brothers and sisters in the Dhamma. Today is 30th October 2025, Tuesday class. Thursday class, sorry. So we will be sharing based on our Heart Sutra, second edition. We are at page 178. Okay, as usual, we will be having our Puja. 南无本师释迦牟尼佛，南无本师释迦牟尼佛，南无本师释迦牟尼佛，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无阿弥陀佛，南无阿弥陀佛，南无阿弥陀佛，南无弥勒佛。南无弥勒佛，南无弥勒佛，南无药师佛，南无药师佛，南无药师佛，南无普贤菩萨，南无普贤菩萨，南无普贤菩萨，南无地藏王菩萨，南无地藏王菩萨，南无地藏王菩萨，南无佛菩萨，南无佛菩萨。นะโม佛菩萨อะระหังสัมมาสัมพุทโธภะคะวะพุทธังภะคะวันตังอะภิวาเทมิสวากาโตภะคะวะตาธัมโมธัมมังนัมมัสสามิสุปฏิปันโนภะคะวะโตสาวกสังโฆสังฆังนะมามินะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะพุทธังสรณังกัจฉามิธัมมังสรณังกัจฉามิสังฆังสรณังกัจฉามิดุติยัมปิพุทธังสรณังกัจฉามิดุติยัมปิธัมมังสรณังกัจฉามิดุติยัมปิสังฆังสรณังกัจฉามิตติยัมปิพุทธังสรณังกัจฉามิตติยัมปิธัมมังสรณังกัจฉามิตติยัมปิสังฆังสรณังกัจฉามิปานาติปาตาเวรมณีสิกขาปะทังสมาธิยามิอาทินาดานาเวรมณีสิกขาปะทังสมาธิยามิกาเมสุมิจฉาจาราเวรมณีสิกขาปะทังสมาธิยามิมุสาวาทาเวรมณีสิกขาปะทังสมาธิยามิสุราเมรยามัจจาปมาทฐานะเวรมณีสิกขาปะทังสมาธิยามิสาธุสาธุสาธุ Okay, let's pay respect triple jam. Buddhang Pujemi. Dhammang Pujemi. Sanghang Pujemi. Remember the four support. Relax, maintaining awareness, then stabilizing the inner awareness. Don't try to know, don't try to do anything. Just relax, be at ease. Then the awareness within is very important. just maintain the ability to be aware, so that whatever arises, you can be aware. The moment it arises, don't continue with the perception, thinking, and the proliferation of thought process. Well, that is the usual mundane activity of the mundane mind. So to meditate, we don't do that. Doing that is for living life to arise as a human being, as a living being. But if we want to meditate, we should silence everything, so that that silent mind without thought is capable of knowing what is going on within the moment. Because our mind can only do one thing at a time. Either we are silent without thought, then we can be aware of everything that arises and manifests within the moment. If you think a lot, if you create thought, then you are lost in thought, preoccupied with what the thought is doing. All these are mundane manifestation, mundane activity, which are not beneficial. They are just dependent originating mind state, mental formation, mental aggregates. If you grasp, cling, and give meaning, then it's like real. Then it can delude you, it can deceive you, it can cause delusion in one's mental activity and formation. Understanding this is very important, so that when we meditate, we will know how to silence our mind and just maintain awareness. That stabilize that silence, to observe, to insight in the phenomena, and to awaken, and to develop the requisite wisdom needed to understand life and to live life. So that is the basis of awareness-based meditation. Okay, with this, I will set the alarm for 30 minutes. Then you can continue with your meditation. Okay. Okay, you can slowly, mindfully come out of the meditation. Try to maintain whatever inner peace, inner calmness, and inner awareness that you have developed for as long as you can. Invocation to the Devas. In this universe, in the entirety, let the Devas and deities come here. Let them hear the good teachings of the King of Sages, which gives heaven and release, Nibbana. This is the time to listen to the teaching. This is the time to listen to the teaching. This is the time to listen to the teaching. Samanta Chakawalesu Atra Gachantu Devata Saddamang Munirajasa Sakamokadang Dhamma Sharing Kalo Ayang Badanta Dhamma Sharing Kalo Ayang Badanta Dhamma Sharing Kalo Ayang Badanta Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. อิติปิโสภะคะวะอะระหังสัมมาสัมพุทโธวิจาจารณสัมปันโนสุขโตโลกวิดูอนุตตโรปุริสธัมมัสสารติสัทธาเทวามนุสสานังบุตโตภควติสวากขาโตภควตาธัมโมสันติติโกอาคาลิโกเอหิปัสสิโกโอปานายิโกปัจจตังเวดิตาโบวิโนหิติสุปฏิปันโนภะคะวะโตสาวกสังโฆอุจุปฏิปันโนภะคะวะโตสาวกสังโฆยาทิดังจะยายาปฏิปันโนภะคะวะโตสาวกสังโฆสามีจิปฏิปันโนภะคะวะโตสาวกสังโฆยาทิดังจัตตาริปุริสโยคานิอัตตปุริสปุกลาเอสาภะคะวะโตสาวกสังโฆอาหุเนโยปะหุเนโยดักเกเนโยอัญจาลิการณิโยอนุตตรังปุญญังเกตังโลกาสาติสาธุสาธุสาธุ Okay, we'll continue from where we stop. Once the wisdom born of one's cultivation and above constant reflection and contemplation has stabilized, then these projections of wrong thought to haunt you will have no more power over you. Wrong thoughts are deluded thoughts that conditions one's fear, worry, anxiety, sorrow and lamentation, leading to suffering via one's self-delusion or sakayaditi, that condition one to deludedly cling onto the five aggregates of form and mind as the I and the me, hence the heedlessness. So ultimately, it is wisdom that really frees and liberates one's mind. Sometimes job pressure, deadline and targets can be very stressful within the job environment and one's career environment. And if one has not developed the wisdom to confront them with understanding, it is not easy. The same goes for personal problem and all those form and mind related problem. Means when we deludedly attach to the physical body, believing that this is a permanent existing entity, which is what we are, then that delusion can cause us unnecessary suffering. Take for example, if we believe this physical body or entity is real, is what we are, then we will worry about it getting sick, getting old, and finally die. So this delusion is very strong, very powerful. Most living beings cannot actually develop the understanding to see clearly that this physical body makes up of only the four elements, is without the knowing. Then how can it be you? The elements, the four elements, they go the way of nature. They are subject to nature's law that governs life and existence. That's why under the 5 daily contemplation, the Buddha actually explained it very well. He asked the monks and even the devotees or cultivators of the way to everyday contemplate. The first 3 pertain to the physical body. He said, you must contemplate that this body of ours is of the nature to grow old, finally get sick and die. For it has not gone beyond old age, sickness and death, because these are nature's conditions. They follow nature's law. They come and they go and they manifest in accordance. So if through delusion one grabs and clings, then we believe this physical body belongs to us and this is what we are, then we worry about this body. The so-called body which we believe we can own is real, is what we are. Then whenever it goes the way of nature, when it gets sick, it gets old, and it's about to die, the fear, the worry, the anxiety, the suffering will manifest. So this reality is very powerful. And not having the understanding means one have not penetrated the Dhamma. One have not developed the heedfulness to see clearly that these 5 aggregates of form and mind, they don't belong to you. They are dependent originating mind states or phenomena, entity. And because they are dependent originating, they go the way of nature. It does not belong to you. Then when we see this clearly, we will not be confused, we will not be deceived by what happened. Then when we can see things as they are, we can come to terms with the reality, to accept the reality of this form. This form is made up of holy element. Without the knowing, it cannot be you. And basically, the elements, they manifest through nature's law, dependent originating. It arises through the karmic process, the law of karma. And with the law of karma, it manifests as one of the conditions for the form and mind to arise. And for it to arise, we need 3 conditions. First, there must be a karmic nature. The condition is arising. Then when that law of karma manifests, then birth can arise. So this birth is dependent originating, because according to the teaching which the Buddha realized himself, upon death, each and every living being, that segmented life, the last thought moment, if there is avijja, ignorance, at the moment of death, so they call it the last thought moment or the death consciousness. If there is avijja, it will condition rebirth. So avijja, paccaya sankhara. So this sankhara is what the karmic volition is all about. The karmic arising of a new being. So when that happens, we will set into motion the dependent originating chain of birth process. So because of the physical law, biological order, the physical form arises first. And when the physical form arises, together with the karmic process, we have the consciousness. So the rebirth consciousness, which is dependent on the avijja from the last thought moment, it was set into motion the conception of the form and mind. So the consciousness, which is the rebirth consciousness, will have the imprint and karmic conditioning from the karmic nature. So this one will manifest as the rebirth consciousness. But initially, because the physical body, the organs, everything, it has not been formulated or completed yet. So from the sperm and the ovum, for us as a living being, the cell will start to subdivide. Then it will create causes and conditions for it to have all the conditioning to manifest the organs and the whatever that is needed for it to become a living entity. That's why the embryo will slowly grow. Then, because of the mother that conceives the thing and carries the thing, the consciousness will only come in later when some of these organs are already set in place. Then it manifests. But when it manifests, the brain are not developed. A lot of the organs are just very new. It has not been conditioned and subject to all those activity of a normal human life. So because of that, when it's in the womb, the whole process is like dormant. Not really dormant in the sense that there is no activity. Dormant in the sense that the fetus, the baby, together with the conscious, they don't know what is going on. It just follows nature's condition until birth. Then when birth arises, it will give rise to the causes and condition for the newborn baby to develop the understanding to be familiar with the environment. That's why when birth arises, normally the baby cries unless the baby has lost its ability to continue. Means something happened during the birth process. Then this heartbeat, the pulse of life, it receives the life force from our karmic nature. The karmic nature, as long as the life force is still there, will continue to trigger off the life process of the newborn baby, the pumping of the heartbeat and whatever. That's why it animates it into a living entity. And then from there we slowly grow and develop until we reach certain years of maturity. Then through the family who look after them, or the parents who look after them, or nowadays maybe we hire maids and all those things. Then all this develops the conditioning. Then later on, our education system. They may go to kindergarten. Then nowadays with all the societies progress, we have our own society's conditioning, means the environment, the evolution of our society's progress. So all this will start to condition the baby, yeah, until they grow up. Then we have our education system, and depending on where you are born, the karmic conditioning will continue. And you can understand all this movement, then you know all these are dependent originating condition or entity that manifests every moment, every instant to condition the world into what it is. That's why the Buddha said, whatever arises, there are causes and conditions behind. That statement is very powerful. It applies to all things, not only living beings, human beings, all the plants, all our nature's conditions and resources. And the Buddha came to realize that there are 5 universal orders. He called it the Pancha Niyamas, which are the great universal order that governs all of life and existence. First, there is this Uttu Niyama, or the physical law of nature that governs all physical things, their arising and manifestation. Then there is this biological order, or Bija Niyamas. All biological entities, they are subject to this law, like the plants, the animals, our human body, and all those that have organic life matter, biological nature. It involves life form, genetics, biological organs and activity. And these are nature's physical law of nature and biological order. These are more towards the scientific field, including mathematics and all those things. Then later on, all the causes that evolve as society progress. Yeah. That's why we have language, we have the arts, humanity, and a lot of other things. Then later on, commerce, nowadays AI, IT. Not only what we used to see, trades, commerce, everything. Now the digital era has bring about a lot more progress and transformation. Then if we continue to observe and see, then we will come to realize that there are many things that manifest within nature. The scientific law is not complete in its own sense, because as far as life is concerned, living being is concerned, there is another spiritual law that governs all of life and existence, and that one is very difficult to comprehend, very difficult to understand, and the Buddha realized it through his cultivation, perfection, long period of cultivation and perfection, that there is this law of karma that governs all of life and existence. So this law of karma, according to the Buddha, is that all living beings, including us human beings, we are all born of our karma, heir to our karma, conditioned and supported by our karma, and we are what we are because of our karma. So that is the first spiritual law, which is very powerful. Then this law of karma also has its unique characteristics. Under the 5 daily contemplation, the Buddha in the 5th contemplation proclaimed this: all living beings, we are all born of our karma, heirs of our karma, conditioned and supported by our karma, and we are what we are because of our karma. So this statement is very profound. If you are born of your karma, heir to your karma, conditioned and supported by your karma, means what? Your entire life is dependent on karma. So to understand life is to understand this. If we don't take care of karma, we will suffer, we will become afflicted, because the law of karma governs all of this activity of life. We are all born of it, heir to it, conditioned and supported by it, and we are what we are every moment, every instant, because of this law. So knowing this, we will also come to realize as we cultivate, we have to take care of karma. Otherwise, we cannot understand life and we will suffer. And suffering need not be according to the Buddha. When you have the Dhamma understanding, which means if you take care of karma, the karmic process will not work against you. Taking care of karma means we avoid all evil, do good, and purify the mind so that our karmic conditioning or karmic manifestation is without the evil roots born of delusion, especially Sakayaditi. So this greed, hatred, and delusion, they will not be able to actually condition us into negativity to cause us suffering. That's why the advice of all the Buddha is the famous Dhammapada verse 183. Sabba papasa akaranam kusalesa upasambadan sachitta paridu dappanam etang buddhana sasana. So these are the advice of all Buddha. Sabbe is all, papasa is evil, all evil is to be avoided. Then kusalesa upasambadan. Kusala means wholesomeness. Wherever there is condition, you should cultivate them. Not only avoid evil, you must develop the ability to manifest goodness, virtue, kindness, gentleness, blessedness, so that there is no evil roots of greed, hatred, and delusion to condition our negative mind state, thereby causing us unnecessary karmic affliction and suffering. So knowing this part is the first part of cultivation. If we can avoid all evil, means we can actually avoid major karmic consequence. So what constitutes evil? The Buddha advises to keep the 5 precepts. He has discovered this. If these 5 precepts, living being maintain it well or kept it well, then it will give rise to the condition for us to avoid evil. Because whoever who violate these 5 precepts, they commit major evils. All the evil roots are there. So if you go through the 5 precepts, you will understand, which I have taught you all. The first precept is Panatipata Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami. Means we all undertake the training rules to abstain from killing and causing harm to fellow living beings. So we should inquire who kill and who harm. evil people, selfish people, deluded people. That's why the three evil roots are there: greed, hatred, and delusion. That's why violating the precept trigger off karmic conditioning that will cause unnecessary physical and mental suffering. So when we see this, we understand this, then we will see the importance of taking care of karma by via keeping the precepts. Similarly, the other precept, second, third, fourth, and fifth. Then when we go through all this, then we will know each and every action, via speech, thought, or physical action, can give rise to karmic conditioning. So our action, speech, and thought process, we have to develop the mindfulness to take care of it. When we have the mindfulness to be aware of our mental intention behind, and when we start to develop the understanding of what constitutes evil, and when we start to contemplate deep into what is the meaning of the evil root of greed, or what the Buddha meant by the word lobha, then when it comes to the second evil root, hatred, the Pali word for it is dosa. So we got to contemplate, reflect, and understand clearly what constitutes greed and what constitutes hatred. Greed is not just greediness. Greed actually covers a very wide aspect of mind state. When you have this evil root of greed or lobha, it means you are selfish. And when you are selfish, you can cheat, you can scheme, you can harm, you can even kill. So this evil root of greed is a very powerful delusion. And it can condition wrong actions, speech, and thought process. And it can manifest into karmic, severe karmic. Even your craving, your desire, positive one, including your lust, your what they call covetousness, your grasping, your clinging, your desire to possess things, have things, and own things. All this can manifest into greed if you are not careful. Then the other evil roots is not only hatred, the second one, dosa. It includes your jealousy, your envy, your emotional negativity, that conditions your violence, your tendency to harm, kill, and do a lot of wrong things. Then finally is the evil roots of delusion. Through delusion, which is mainly Sakayaditi, we develop the entity which we call the ego, the egoic mind. Then this ego, which develop into a personality, we think this five aggregate of form and mind, the human being is what we are. Then we start to develop the evil roots of greed, hatred, and delusion. Because when we believe this is us, we tend to have this greed that is very strong. We want to own things, we want to possess things. That's why we go all out to fight for it, to actually achieve it and have it. Then the craving develop positive. Then when we don't like certain situation, we develop the negative craving. That's why hatred, jealousy, violence, or the other related delusion, they manifest. Then the third one, Sakkayaditthi, delusion, self-delusion, it includes many other mind states. The fear, the worry, the anxiety, the sorrow, the meditation. These are all delusion, moha. So when we go into all this, then we realize these are the mind states that actually make us evil. Then when we cultivate, we must have mindfulness to be aware of their arising. That's why in the teaching, the Buddha taught us the 4 right effort. The first 2 right effort is very powerful and very important. The first one is right effort to abandon the wrong thought, wrong speech and wrong action that has arisen. Means, if you are not mindful to see that this thing has manifest, that's why anger arises, envy, jealousy arise, greed, hatred, or covetousness, possessiveness, when they arise, you must be aware. Aware means what? These are evil roots, negativity of mind state that can condition negativity of karmic process, and it can make us evil, thereby have the potential to condition our karmic negativity, thereby leading to our suffering and affliction. So seeing this, understanding this is very important. Then we must determine right effort to abandon. Otherwise, we become evil. So how do we do it? To abandon them, there are 5 ways the Buddha taught. And of the 5 ways, the first 2 are thought-based. Think of the direct opposite wholesome state to counter the negative, evil mental state. Like when we have greed, we have desire, lust, everything. Then we must think of contentment, love, compassion, so that we will not arise the craving, the desire. Especially contentment is very important. Then we must also reflect on all the positive mind state to counter all this negative tendency. So like envy and jealousy, they arise because we lack love, we lack understanding, we lack compassion. That's why we can't do all those things. Then when it comes to the other aspect of mind state, like fear, worry, anxiety, all these things, we need to develop the meditative understanding that these are dependent originating mind state, condition arising mind state. They are not intrinsic within us. Before we have anger, hatred, delusion, sorrow, lamentation, fear, worry, anxiety, there was none. They arise to wrong thought, wrong understanding. That's why I teach you all to understand what constitutes wrong thought. Wrong thought are thoughts that condition our karmic negativity, our suffering, our misery. That's why I always say, what are wrong thoughts is more important than understanding what are right thoughts. Wrong thoughts are thoughts that condition our fear, our worry, our anxiety, insecurity, phobia, etc. And these thoughts, they have the evil roots of greed, hatred and delusion, and it brings about suffering. That's why fear, worry, anxiety, sorrow, lamentation, insecurity, all these are wrong thoughts. So the best way to detect them is I gave you all a very important suggestion. I always say, this mind state, when they arise, it will make you like lack of peace, unhappy. That's why I said, whenever you are unhappy and not peaceful, then the evil roots are there. You have heedless thinking, conditioned by wrong thought. If without this wrong thought, you will be peaceful, you will be happy. So to check is very important. Whenever you are not peaceful, not happy, the evil roots are there, the wrong thoughts are there. So that is the very important pointer or indicator. So when we meditate, it's taught in the four foundations of mindfulness under Chittanupassana. When there is anger, away. When there is fear, away. Whatever mind state that manifests, away. Means Chittanupassana, content of consciousness. So when this awareness arises, then there is the understanding behind. The awareness will let us know what type of mind states are they, whether they are wholesome or unwholesome, kusala or akusala. Then we develop the training of the mind to abandon it when it is unwholesome. So abandoning, the first one is think of the direct opposite wholesome thought to counter. Then second way is still thought based, but the Buddha says reflect on the danger or consequence of holding on to that wrong thought. Where it's a wrong thought or condition your fear, worry, anxiety, sorrow and lamentation, leading to all your mental suffering, physical suffering and affliction. If that is not what you want, where is your life? You hold the key to your own life destiny. So when you see that, then you must determine to abandon it. That's why when you see the danger of that wrong thought continuing manifesting in your mind state, then the determination to abandon it is very strong. So that is the second way, is still thought based. So how you can really abandon it is taught in the third and the fourth way, and these two are meditative approach, which is very important. So this meditative approach, you need to arise what they call the mindfulness within, to be aware. So the third way is whatever mind state arise, you just use your silent mind and stay with it. Means be aware of it, like I teach you in the awareness-based meditation. Whatever arises, aware, finish. The moment you are aware, the awareness which is your true mind is without duality, without delusion. And that one is a pure mind. It's a purification factor. So when you stay silent, without the thought manifesting, there is no thinking. No thinking means no sakkayaditthi, no duality, no negativity of mind state. All this cannot manifest. So when you continue to maintain awareness via the third way, you realize whatever mind state that is dependent originating, like what I explained earlier on, they come to cessation. They will cease. Which means they are dependent originating mind state, not intrinsic within. So seeing this give rise to wisdom, give rise to awakening. Then you realize anger was never you, fear was never you. All the various negativity of mind state, even hatred, jealousy, possessiveness, lust, craving, they were never you. But they are dependent originating mind state born of delusion, psychiatry. Then you realize the tranquility, the peace within. Then you come to a great understanding that this mind, our true mind, which is the pure awareness nature, which is just the silent mind, in pure awareness. And this one is our true mind. The original primordial mind before the arising of thought and emotion, the mundane thinking, the mundane emotion. Then we realize if we don't do anything, we stay with the awareness, then this mind, which has arisen through delusion, will actually dissipate, cease, and return to its original state of tranquility and stillness, which is our true mind. That's why the pure awareness within is very important. Awareness-based meditation is to realize this mind and stabilize it so that you can always be with this pure nature within. And this one can see things as they are, can develop the understanding, the wisdom, can insight into phenomena, to understand the three universal characteristics and free the mind. And this is how you meditate. That's why the third way is very important. But the third way alone, the Buddha says, is not enough. Because if you can only do that, means you have developed some form of wisdom and understanding, which is also very important. But you cannot live life with this understanding alone. Well, every time the mind stirs and makes you angry, emotional, or jealous, you have to silence your mind and let it cease. Then how do you live life? That's why the Buddha taught us the fourth way. And the fourth way is very beautiful. It is also the meditative way, wisdom way. The Buddha said, by being mindful and aware, you can trace the origination factor. Through tracing the origination factor, you can retrospectively reverse all this wrong thought, wrong view that have conditioned our wrong mind state or karmic negativity. And through this, which is taught by the Buddha under the four foundations of mindfulness, the fourth foundation, Dhammanupassana, mindfulness of the five mental hindrances. So when you are mindful, you can trace its origination factor. That's why under the fourth foundation of mindfulness, the first category of practice, we call it mindfulness of the five mental hindrances. So under this fourth foundation of mindfulness, the Buddha taught, he said, when there is this mental hindrance of sensual desire or ill will, or even sloth and torpor, or restlessness of mind and doubt, any of these mental hindrance, when they arise, you must silence your mind and develop the awareness within. Then when you stay with it through the third way, then you realize it ceases. Then you know These mind states are dependent, originating, condition arising, not intrinsic. Anger was never you. Fear was never you. All this negativity of mind state were never you. So if it's never you, then why do you deludedly grasp and cling and hold and say, after meditating for so long, I still have anger? That is a delusion. Then when you trace the origination factor means, at the moment of anger, if you silence your mind and it ceases, then you will come to know how this so-called sensual desire or ill will or any other mental state, how they arise, means how the unreasoned mental hindrance comes to be. So through your wrong thought, through your wrong view, through your sense dull manifestation, is often due to your seeing consciousness. When you see something you don't like, then you react and stir your mind and get angry. Or when you see something very enticing, luring, then you develop sensual desire, you crave for it, you want it. Then when that topic doesn't interest you, you feel sleepy. Sakkayaditi. Then when you have problems, when you don't keep your precept well, when the first noble truth reality hit, it makes you fearful. You worry. So this fear, worry, anxiety is the cause of restlessness of mind. Your mind becomes restless because there is problem. So all these are the origination factor. Even doubt, when you are not sure of what is going on, you tend to have doubt where your faith in the teaching, the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha are not strong. So the mind that has doubt, lack confidence, lack saddha. So all this, when they manifest, you can come to know how they arise through your wrong thought, wrong view, wrong understanding, lack of the five opposite spiritual faculty to counter them. That's why the solution is to cultivate the five spiritual faculty to counter the five mental hindrance. Then when you trace the origination factor already, the Buddha said, through mindfulness, through awareness, you will come to know how the unreasoned mental hindrance comes to be. So when you come to understand already, he said, you should, through this understanding, retrospectively reverse it, like what I have taught you all. How do you retrospectively reverse it? Like I mentioned, you have to follow the teaching. You have to learn to see things as they are. The world is the world. Condition like that, things will like that. Greedy people do greedy things, selfish people do selfish things. Deluded people do deluded things. So they are just the way they are. The world is just the way it is because of causes and conditions. So when you see all this, then you start to straighten your view. All of your habitual tendency, your views, your opinion, your belief system, your whatever religious belief. All these are worldly conditioning through your knowledge, through your wrong view, wrong thought, wrong understanding. You lack right view. And because of that, we develop this habitual reaction to stir our mind, our like and dislike, our preference. Then our whatever fear, worry, anxiety leading to restlessness of mind, all this come about through our own delusion, wrong view, wrong thought. And when we understand all this, then we inquire, how can I live life without doing all this wrong thing? How can I develop the right understanding? To see things as they are and to have the wisdom to accept the reality within the moment, following the teaching. So the teaching is learn to see things as they are, not according to your views, opinion, conditioning, and belief. So all of your memories, training, the conditioning, the habitual tendency, this one you cannot use. That's why acting according to memory is not acting at all. You have to cease it. You have to change to a new way. You have to straighten your view, following what the Buddha realized. Whatever arises, there are causes and conditions behind. Means whenever causes and conditions already set, things will go that way. Cannot be otherwise. If you want things your way, you suffer. So ability to accept the reality of what is or the moment is wisdom. Then deluded people do deluded things. Selfish people do selfish things. Ignorant people do ignorant things. They are just the way they are. The world is the world. So with this understanding, your mind did not stir. That's why I say whatever happened in life, don't get angry. Don't react. Don't become fearful. Because all these mind states are not conducive for you to resolve all these problems. Because these are negative mind state. No amount of fear, worry, anxiety can help you resolve life's problem. So all this are due to your wrong view, wrong reaction and stirring of your mind, born of sakkayaditthi, self-delusion. So when this is understood, then every moment of sense experience, whatever happened, the first thing we have to do is come to terms with the reality within the moment. Condition like that, things will be like that. It has to be like that. So, at peace. Not to stir your mind, to develop the unnecessary negativity of mind state. Then when we have this understanding, our mind is different. We can be at peace with whatever life situation or whatever type of people we encounter. Then when we are at peace, our mind is different. There is no negativity of mind state, no mental hindrance. So what happens is, this mind that is at peace has clarity, peaceful, tranquil, and still. That one can see clearly. Then we can inquire what actually happened, because that clarity can help us. Then when we understand what the problem is, then we can resolve it amicably so that nobody suffers, so that nobody is entangled with the karmic process. So that we know how to act after that, to resolve all this misunderstanding amicably. So to resolve it, the Buddha has taught us in the teaching, the Four Noble Truths. The fourth Noble Truth, he said, this Noble Eightfold Path, if you put it into cultivation and develop the embodiment of the Noble Eightfold Path factor, then it will lead to the end of all suffering. Having the embodiment of the Noble Eightfold Path factor means you have wisdom. Because the first of this Noble Eightfold Path factor that you must cultivate is right view, leading to all the right understanding of the Pancha Niyama that I mentioned earlier on. The first two is scientific law, Uttu Niyama, Bija Niyama, which is a physical law of nature and biological order of nature. Then the three spiritual law, I explained the law of karma. under the law of karma is karma niyama. Then the law of mind that explains clearly how you function as a human being, how your mundane mind create all this mundane thinking through the law of dependent originating or paticca samuppada. Then you also will come to understand the last of the spiritual law, the law of truth or Dhamma Niyama. So once we develop this, then we know that these are the 5 major universal order that governs life and existence. Then we have right view. Then we are not deluded. So whatever happens, like the Buddha said, has a lot to do with the law of karma. We are all born of our karma, heir to our karma, conditioned and supported by our karma. And we are what we are because of our karma. So the first path factor will enable you to accept the reality. Whatever happens, your suffering, your misery, is through the law of karma. You reap what you sow. Do good begets good. Do evil begets evil. So knowing that, with wisdom, what must you do? You must act, isn't it? Act with what? The other noble eightfold path factor to resolve all this amicably. So if it's the law of karma, the first thing we must do is we must do what we need to do to overcome it. Means you need to ask for forgiveness, develop the repentance. You have to do it because if you don't do it, the karmic obstruction can be very severe. That's why asking for forgiveness, doing the repentance is very important. Once you do that, then you must undertake the training role. Not to repeat all this, what they call wrong action, speech and thought process that has brought about this negativity of karmic. We are following the advice of the Buddha to avoid all evil, do good, and purify the mind. And this is cultivation, training. How to avoid all evil? Keep the precept, like what I have explained just now. Then how do we actually develop the purification process? The purification process is the 4 right effort. The first right effort, just now I say, is the abandon. Okay? The wrong thought, wrong speech, wrong action, that has a reason. So through the 3rd way and the 4th way, you can abandon it. Then after that, the 2nd right effort is to prevent all this wrong thought, wrong speech, wrong action from arising. To do that, you need the initial wisdom. You must cultivate the 3rd and the 4th way and contemplate and reflect until it is very clear, very stable. Then when you have this initial wisdom, yoniso manasikara, then at the moment of sense experience, you can abandon it. Or prevent it from arising, Because with that type of understanding, at the moment of sense experience, it will prompt you. Thing is just the way it is. Condition like that, things will like that. They are just the way they are. That's why at that moment, when you see something, hear something, smell something, feel something, tactilely develop the sensation or the memory you recall. It will just stop there because of the initial wisdom, yoniso manasikara. This one is spontaneous. It will come to you straight away. Then the way it arises because you have contemplated it, reflected on it, like what is mentioned in the Sutta note. When you have done that, then this initial wisdom, when they arise, is spontaneous. Immediately, your mind will not stir like before. It can see things as they are. It can accept the reality of the moment. It can be at peace. And when that manifests, the 2nd right effort has become a reality. Means you can develop it and it become a part of you. That is the embodiment of that understanding, the initial wisdom that give rise to that. Then the third and fourth right effort is to develop the wholesomeness. The third right effort is to cultivate whatever right thought, right speech, right action that are still not in you. Then you have to reflect, contemplate, and go into the understanding of what constitutes right view that condition the right thought, right speech, and right action. So that one I have also shared with you all. We don't have enough time to cover it. You go back and listen to the earlier notes, then you can develop it yourself. So once you understand what constitutes right thought, right speech, right action, then you can arise the right effort to put them into practice. That's why you refine the way you arise your thought. You refine the way you act, speak. That's why you will come up with speeches that are very useful, very beautiful. That is non-negativity. Means you will have good, gentle, pleasant, and wise speeches that are without the negativity of greed, hatred, and delusion. So the fourth type of wrong speech, you can never rise again. The first one is like backbiting, speaking ill or negative things about other people. Then lying, you cannot. Then you cannot speak harshly, harsh speech. Then there is also this frivolous speech, sweet nothing. You can never arise them anymore. So all this, they manifest by itself. Then your action, you will know how to act correctly without the evil roots. Means the way you act is full of love, compassion, honesty, sincerity, love, respect, gratitude, contentment. All these are beautiful mind state. So all action born of virtue, like honesty, sincerity, are right thought and right action. And all this can become a part of you when you cultivate it. So the third way is to cultivate those are still not in you and perfect it. Then the last right effort is to purify and refine upon all those right thought, right speech, right action that you have already developed and cultivated, so that it can become a living reality, so that you can perfect them all. That's how the four right effort can help you realize the first two advice of the Buddha. Then after that, the third one is meditative, purifying the mind. So the meditative part is more difficult. You have to develop the mindfulness to go into it. So when you act according to this Noble Eightfold Path factor after you have cultivated it, then you have all the embodiment of right thought, right speech, right action, born of right view. Then you have the four right effort to cultivate. Then you know how to live your life. That's why right living will follow. Then right mindfulness and right samadhi, if you have developed the practice and the cultivation, they are a part of you already. So with the embodiment of Noble Eightfold Path, you will know how to actually resolve all your problems amicably. Because Noble Eightfold Path is without negativity. So first is right view to accept. Then arise the right thought, right speech, right action. and the four-eye effort to constantly develop the purification so that you can resolve all this life situation or misunderstanding amicably so that no karmic negativity can be afflicted to any people or any party. So this is how we act. So right action is having the Noble Eightfold Path cultivation to enable us to resolve things amicably. Then when we can do that, it will lead to the end of all suffering. No more karmic negativity. No more karmic conditioning to bring about suffering and misery. Then everything in life can be resolved amicably. That's how you can apply the Dhamma, the understanding, to allow you to generate a lot of understanding, leading to all the wholesomeness and the wisdom to free your mind, to liberate your mind. So this part is very important, tracing the origination factor, then retrospectively reverse all this. Then you know how to act. Because with that clarity, you know how to act, following the teaching, Noble Eightfold Path. And that's what that passage is all about. Okay, go back to the notes. Sorry. So just now the last paragraph which I have read to you, this is the answer to that Kayamita who asked. He said it's easy to develop mindfulness when we have normal life situation without problem. But when there is personal problem, career problem, life problem, one of certain life situation, especially the First Noble Truth reality, then it's not easy to be heedful, to be aware, to be at peace with all people, especially people who are not friendly. So this part I think we have completely covered. So the last paragraph maybe I will read to you again. So ultimately it is wisdom that really frees and liberates one's mind. Then job pressure, deadline and targets, which can be very stressful within the job and career environment, can be resolved. And if one has not developed the wisdom to confront them with understanding, then it's not easy. But if you have developed the wisdom and the understanding, then you can resolve it. So the same goes with personal problem. Personal problem can be your personal financial problem, health problem, or whatever relationship problem that you may encounter. And these are our day-to-day personal issues. Sometimes problem with your neighbor, problem with career, life, everything. And these ones are related to self because sakarity. So the Dhamma understanding to confront all this First Noble Truth reality is very important. And this is the reason why the Buddha's final advice before his passing away is to strive on with heedfulness, to develop the requisite wisdom to liberate one's mind. Okay, we end. Maybe we stop here. The clan group represented by Sister Nancy. She actually texted me. He said, "Well, Theo," he said, because they couldn't attend my gathering of Kayamita because I think a group of them went to Sri Lanka or what. So, like other usual year, they intend to invite me to climb this 16th of November, which is 2 weeks time, I think, Sunday, for a lunch. Then after that, I think he proposed a Dhamma session at her house, which is the usual session. We have done this for quite a few years, I think. The title is actually similar to today's topic. I read to you the title. Before I read the title, maybe I read to you her message. She wrote yesterday, he said, "Good morning, Bratya Sukhi Hotu Sadhu. First, our sincere apology for not being able to attend Bratya's birthday lunch this year, as some of us were away. Like I said, some of them are in Thailand, Sri Lanka, sorry. However, as per last year, Greg and Mita would like to invite Bratya and family for a birthday lunch dinner on Sunday, November 16th, and would be grateful if Bratya can advise on availability. Otherwise, Bratya can give us another alternative date. So looking forward to your reply with Metta, Nancy." Then I replied, I said, "November 16th should be okay." Then he said, "Thanks for the quick response, Bratya. Kanat, Sadhu." Then he said, "Good morning, Bratya, today. Further to the above, we would like to invite Bratya for a Dhamma session at my place, means her house. The Dhamma topic is as follows. Why most cultivator or meditator achieve awakening or realization of the Dhamma during daily activity or while doing their daily cultivation, and not during the former meditation?" Then the second question that follow, which is related, is how should lay cultivator develop the cultivation or practice towards awakening? Then he said, "I will send out the program upon Bratya's confirmation on the talk." Then I said, "Okay." Then he said, "Sadhu." So this is just for you all to maybe make a note, because this topic is quite similar to what I just explained actually the last two sessions, Thursday class, mainly about cultivation. So if you want to understand further, then maybe on that day, you all can also join us. I think not a problem, but you better let Sister Nancy know if you are attending the Dhamma session. If you want to join us for the lunch session also, I believe it should be okay, but you must let Nancy know. We come back to our second session, which is meditation reporting, followed by whatever question you may have and sharing. So we can now open up. Anybody who wants to come in and report meditation or ask question or share, you can just on the mic and come in.
Good evening, Bratya.
Yes.
Bratya, 我可以 continue
你可以 continue， 拿钱的
Bratya，其实那个已经过去了 ，never mind。Actually，我回来我再 reflect 回去，其实我一出来的时候，我是 feel 不到 anything 的，我就是说我 feel 不到就是我 first thing 啊，我出来我是 feel 不到 anything 的，然后慢慢那个 sense data 才make me conscious。
OK，which means 你从里面慢慢出来
对。
That one is still like before.
OK. So， 但是经过那天之後，我所讀的東西好像它特別的 clear 這樣子的，為什麼？
You will understand it better, much better.
就好像你读比如说那个陪你到天涯这样，我就读但很多 understanding 在里面。
Yeah.
Yeah,
You will start to develop all those understanding because by the time you have the understanding of the teaching and the Dhamma, then the way you look at things is different. Then the what they call the 陪你到天涯, all the wording, how they actually put it, and you know it comes from a great being's cultivation. Otherwise, they cannot write like that. So, and all of the understanding is based on causes and conditions from the past. 因缘早安排, all those things, very beautiful. Then 树连根, and all these are the words that can give deep meaning to the understanding of cultivation. 你 continue?
就因为没有众生就没有菩萨，所以那个树连根是很有意思。
是哦。
对。
因为那个树啊 and the 根啊 they are dependent on each other. Without the 根 you cannot draw the nutrient and all those things. Then without the nutrient, with all the causes and conditions germinating, the plant, the tree cannot be what it is. So the 树连根, the meaning is very profound, very deep, and it reflects the understanding of two great beings' cultivation. Otherwise, they cannot write it so well. Because the mundane one, the writing of they call it the so-called poem, they cannot write until like that for mundane people. It's like all this, when you have the cultivation, you listen or you read, you know, and this one comes from spiritual practitioner or great beings or cultivator who has awakened. Otherwise, they cannot write like that. And with what you have gone through, you can actually develop the joy and the understanding behind, and it becomes like clearer and clearer. Because before one cultivate, let's say you reflect back in the early years before you cultivate, you read that 陪你到天涯 you call what, those writing, you call it lyrics. You cannot get the meaning. You say, what is all this? Not much meaning to you. Then like 因缘早安排, they cannot actually grasp what that thing is, because the law of cause and effect, the nature's law that governs life and existence. So 因缘法 means the condition, the mass manifestation, or the law that governs life and existence, means the law of dependent origination, condition arising phenomena, causal phenomena. That's why 一切有为法，如梦幻泡影，如露亦如电，应作如是观。All this wording can only come out from great beings with great wisdom. Otherwise, they cannot understand. Everything within the conditioned world are conditioned Dhamma. These phrases are very powerful. What is conditioned world? Dependent originating, condition arising, causal phenomena. And this has great meaning once you have developed the cultivation. Otherwise, normal people, when they read this, they don't know what it is, and they just like, cannot understand. To them, no interest. What is all this? To them, it's like not much meaning or nonsense. But for cultivator of the way, the moment you read, it's so penetrative, in its wisdom, and they understand it there and then, and they can awaken based on those few stanzas. Which is correct, Alicia? Yeah, you continue.
Yeah，不然就还有就是那天 after 那个 incident 过后，有一天我在整理我的那个 drawer 的时候，就我觉得我是在整理就是在整理罢了，我没有想什么。然后当我整理完，我转身走出去的时候，我可以感觉到我那个就是你味道里面那种清凉很轻盈那种，不要讲，我第一次感觉到这样的感觉，很清静，而且又很快感。
Yeah. Because you go through that phase also. Because once you have developed this ability to go in deep into your nature and come out, then even in your daily life, like you say, you go and like clear your drawer or whatever, but you have this ability to be aware deep within about that nature within the state. It's actually without thought on, and like you use the word 清凉 everything. All this you can sense it, and this is what the real cultivator will go through. That's why when they go through all this, then they realize the true mind has so much more uh, uh, secret within. That's why that pure nature, the awareness nature, our pure mind. When you go through the gateway, when you go in deep, then it's a totally new understanding unfolding. It's like a new unfolding of understanding from that nature. That's why that nature is full of surprises and understanding. And it is so beautiful, so much more thing inside there, although it's empty, nothing. But the awareness that go in and develop the ability to illuminate that nature, to actually develop the understanding from within, that one is cannot be understood or touched by normal cultivator who develop the thought-based approach. They only can get information through what they read, the Dhamma knowledge, the Dhamma book, and this thing, and maybe relate to people's experience, what people write. But on their own, they cannot penetrate, they cannot realize that. That's why it's not possible for normal thought-based approach cultivator to develop those understanding. So these are the possibility and understanding of awareness-based approach to that cultivation. Then when you develop the necessary causes and conditions for you to penetrate those understanding, you become different. You not only transform, you become different. Your understanding, when it come out and it manifests, that's why all this you will start to go through, experience. Then, because there are causes and conditions, you can share, then I can explain. Then more and more cultivators who are on the way or on the path, later on they will also have the ability to realize all this. Then they will develop the faith and the understanding. Then as the cultivation progress, when the time comes, they know what this thing is, and they know how to actually, I should use the word what? Go through. But there is another English word, like you move through with ease. And all this understanding, as they unfold, you will develop the joy. Then that penetrative understanding will actually stabilize your wisdom more and more. That's why this awareness nature within the cultivation process is totally different. 很好啊，
对啊，而就 就第一次感觉到原来可以这样的。
Yeah.
他就是后来我就回想 Bradio 每次跟我们说要在 daily 里面做
对，
在 daily 里面，所以我更加理解到就是该 Bradio 讲是圣联系那个 question， 因为
Yeah.
原来可以在 daily 里面也可以做到这个。
对，因为 the daily mindfulness when it stabilize, you are actually in the meditative state. 他们不懂，他们以为是 daily activity, but actually that is the daily mindfulness, the daily cultivation. And that daily mindfulness cultivation is actually the true cultivation. But as you develop the cultivation, there are two aspects that cultivator will come to know later on their own. So initially is the training of the mind to be heedful, to be aware, then stabilizing it to be constantly aware or ever mindful, then constantly using it to meditate, leading to heedfulness. So the moment you are heedful, like Dhammapada verse 21, 22, 23, you are destined for enlightenment. That's why heedfulness is the path to the deathless. The heedful never die, whereas heedlessness is the path to the dead. The heedless are as if dead. So all this will have great meaning. So the first thing that cultivator should do is to stabilize the awareness with it, so that you are ever mindful. Then use it to meditate, cultivate Noble Eightfold Path, to be in that meditative state, to see things as they are, to insight into phenomena, and to awaken. And this is what we will do if we have daily mindfulness stability, or then whatever you come across in life, life itself is your greatest teacher. You learn from life. You learn from relationship with fellow humanity, fellow living being, nature, society, everything. Then all these are evolving Dhamma that manifest dependent originating, condition arising, causal phenomena, and they keep on manifesting. But there are times to go deep into the nature through formal meditation. That's why when we develop the daily mindfulness, initially the initial wisdom will arise first, then the cessation will manifest through the sainthood way. Then later on, when you start to do the fourth way, or the fourth support, not the fourth way, sorry, the fourth support to realize what is within the gateway to our nature. At that time, you take a different course of training, and that one is like what you have gone through for the last few years. When the causes and condition is there, your meditation becomes very simple because your daily mindfulness has stabilized. Then at any one time you're silent, whether you lie down or you do your sitting or walking, you go into that mind state very fast. Then when it's time for you to lie down and silent, your nature will know and you will do it. And when you do it, you will go in deep. That's how all this, whether it's daily mindfulness or formal meditation, it will alternate among themselves. Yes? For us, we need to develop the wisdom through life itself. So, through life, we need to actually do both. Daily mindfulness, stabilizing it, developing the understanding of it. Then after that, we transform. Then we go through the fourth way, or fourth support, to actually detect the gateway to our nature. Then that internal movement is completely different. Then as you go in that one, when you come out, you live life again. Then later on, when your mundane mind or collapse, you go through another phase of cultivation and training. Then that time, even the daily mindfulness in the midst of life, the mind is like completely transformed without the mundane thinking, without the mundane mind. Because that one too gross to sustain itself. And when you are able to transform your nature's vibration until it's very fine, very pure, then what happens is the mundane mind becomes too gross to exist. Then it will start to collapse. And when it collapses over a period of time, then suddenly one day you realize it's completely gone. You got no more mundane mind. Then the pure nature, the pure awareness nature shine forth. Then there is like clarity. It's like you suddenly come to that awakening and understanding, and the mind becomes so different. That's why the hallmark of Huining, you start to develop from the first hallmark of no thought, wu nian de jing jie. You move up to no mark. No mark, the stage of no mark is very beautiful. That one is a very penetrative one compared to the sainthood way. No mark of a self, no mark of living being, no mark of Dhamma, no mark of the whole of phenomena within the existential world. Then you penetrate very deep to understand the illusory world, the phenomenal world of consciousness and form. You see the illusion within, no reality, the empty nature of existence, all this manifests. Then after that, you will reach a stability that can enable you to develop the third hallmark of Huining. Especially after your mundane mind collapse already, then you continue with your cultivation, then you realize that mind that has transformed until it have the stability of understanding of not only no thought, 无念的境界, 无相的境界, the next one is no mark. That stability of understanding and the wisdom, the moment you penetrate that, then you suddenly realize your mind doesn't dwell. That nature is so beautiful. It's either specific phenomena awareness or spacious awareness without a center. It's just the oneness nature. And that one, when it manifests, is very beautiful. That's why the third hallmark of nature means you already develop the penetrative understanding of that true mind that doesn't dwell. It's connected to the form and mind, but it can see things very differently. So these are the evolution of consciousness as you move through the third stage of Bodhi mind development. So the third stage of Bodhi mind development, Bodhi mind that illuminates that nature, is beautiful and it can go very far. Then by the time it finishes the three hallmarks of Huining, you would have reached the fourth stage of Bodhi mind development. Bodhi mind that renounces samsara, and that phase is the most beautiful. Pativeda, you keep on coming. No more problem. And there's a lot of joy in the coming and the return and all those things. Then the whole cultivation become like completely different. No more of the they used to use this word, where your understanding and wisdom has lead you to those phases where you can never fall back already. You will never fall back. And this is the most beautiful phase, where it's basically able to realize the wonderful existence that Kuan Yin Bodhisattva mentioned under the teaching. When you realize true emptiness, penetrative emptiness, then life or existence become wonderful. 真空妙有. So all this understanding will unfold, will manifest. That's why it's beautiful. Okay, Alicia, 很好。
Sadu, but Brother,你的声音 breaking， but 我会等我 recording 回来我再听，因为
可以，因为今天我有一点actually 中午的时候 I realize I'm going to have this it's not really sinus, it's the body like need rest, so that sneezing start. So when that sneezing start, I say, I still got a class. Otherwise, I would have go and take a rest. But I told Sui, never mind. I have gone through this before. So during the class, normally when I start the class, when I develop the sharing, it will go on. But today it will take longer. After I finish already, after the toilet break, only I feel much better. But you can hear from my voice different. But is the sound like breaking?
No, 不是 Brother 的声音，是那个 technical 的。
technical 的
听不到，不用紧。Brother，那 Brother 要不要早一点休息？
不用紧了 ，another 9 minutes only. Finish it 了 ，no problem. 现在我好很多了。
好的。
After the toilet break
感恩 Brother Teo， 你这么辛苦还要教我们。
没事。OK， the other thing is 你们明天飞是吗？
是的，明天。
几点的飞机？
我们是半夜的，但是我们8点多就出发去 airport 了。
是了，最少都要4个小时呢，我的。
对。8点多，Brother Teo actually 在这个 cultivation 里面，我觉得真的是要在那个 daily 那个生活里面呢，
对，那个最重要的 the daily mindfulness, which is to be heedful in the midst of life 是最重要的。Without that one, actually, you can never awaken. 除非是 the normal sainthood way. Maybe that one, first stage and second stage of sainthood, you don't really need the stability of daily mindfulness, the continuous and what they call stability of it. But to really penetrate and develop the stability of understanding of the Dhamma, the daily mindfulness is a must actually. If you cannot be heedful in the midst of life, actually you don't stand a chance. But some people have the cultivation from their past. So if they have from their past, then it's possible when causes and conditions arise, they don't really need a stable daily mindfulness, but they just develop the causes and conditions, then they just awaken.
Brother actually 我有一段我忘记跟 Brother report 的是我头前面这边每次好像有一片东西这样。
OK。
有一片东西要跌这样，但是它又是在
好啊，在前面是吗？
对
，forehead 那边杀掉。你patiently just let it be, no need to force it. I think once 你感觉得到应该是 within 6 to 9 months， 它就整个会掉下来了。But I remember for my case it's faster. Well, by the time I realized that, because the whole process I remember take about 9 months, but by the time I realized the thing in front of the forehead there about to happen. Then I know. Then that one I think within 1 month I think it slowly move. Then suddenly one day the whole thing like drop off. Just like the wheel of ignorance drop off, no more. Then for 4-5天 I remember. I was so amazed. How come? Like the whole mind become clear. Like I got no mind inside there. But no mind, how to live life. Then I just go through. Then for the first time in my life, I remember I saw everything so clearly. That's why I came out with the understanding. Truth is everywhere. Why can't you see? For those who see, they always see. Because the universal characteristic of life, anicca, dukkha, anatta, they are in the midst of life and existence, nature, everywhere. Wherever your true mind shines, they are there. And that time so clear, so beautiful. That's why it will happen. Salute to you, Alicia.
Yeah, brother. Actually, 它怎样会发生，都是要因缘具足。
要因缘的。Then 你要有那个 ability to do the fourth way, the fourth support to actually locate the gateway. Then after that, from there, the transformation activity move. Then depend on one's cultivation, your past and all those things. Then that movement actually depend on the individual. For me, the moment I detected it and I went in, it took me about 9 months, I remember. For you all, it may take longer a bit, I don't know. It depends on the individual. But the whole transformation, the process is very beautiful. Very amazingly beautiful. And a lot of these things that manifest and happen, actually, no book write about it. I got no guidance, nothing. My teacher all cannot teach me on all this. Where is beyond them. So all this is on your own, you move. And for me, because of my past, and I have faith in what the Buddha said, the Dhamma is pacetang, can be realized by the wise, each for themselves. You actually no need to check on. And whatever happens and transformation that occur, the nature inside, understanding is like that one, so beautiful, so wonderful. Then it this type of thing, normal people cannot go through and cannot develop the understanding.
Actually, brother, it was really 感恩 because 以前的我是 full of thought 的嘛，现在就可以这样子 stay with the quiet side.
Stay with that nature. Then 你 realize no thought one. You want to think, only it arise. Then you want to live life, then it arise. Otherwise, you hardly think note. Most of the time, you are just in that state, away. That's why it's very beautiful. And that part, hardly any cultivator can understand unless they have done it. They have gone through it. And this one is not a conditioned state of mind. It's a free mind. No thought activity at all. The internet connection is unstable. See? There is a message.
A bit.
Yeah, you continue. Yeah, Alicia.
Yeah, brother Dio, actually, 我很想去 remember how to bring them to the trip 我一用不到我的 memory brother Dio.
不用的 just let it be. But 你要 print 那个 itinerary program 出来用那个来 act as reference 就可以了。
因为你不能一直用那个头脑去。
不可以的，因为它会让你知道 If you want to suffer, you go and use the memory to read and do all those things. But it's only that period, that phase. After that, you go back to normal. Yeah.
So okay, 感恩 Brother Dio.
Let us rejoice with the good
阿弥陀佛。
sharing. Amitabha. So let us rejoice with the good sharing by Alicia. And we also make use of this opportunity to wish the group that is flying off tomorrow, midnight, I think, to their spiritual way place or trip, which is at this Juhasana, and also the city of Nanjing. So we wish you all a very, how I should say, beneficial and safe and wonderful trip. So this spiritual trip, like I explained, can bring forth a lot of spiritual affinity with great beings, especially the great beings that have affinity with you all. That as you go, remember, silence your mind, develop the faith, saddha, then remember to do your morning chanting, Zauka, then evening chanting, which is the sharing of merit. Then in between, develop the faith and walk mindfully, heedfully, and develop the understanding. Whatever you encounter, there are Dhamma within. And all these are very useful. Okay, we will also radiate metta and send our blessing. We invoke our merits for you all to have the Dhamma protectors and Devas and all the whatever beings that have affinity with your nature to actually protect you all, bless and guide you all. Okay, let us rejoice. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. And we will do the sharing of merit, transfer of merit. Then we end. Akasata Chavumata Deva Naga Mahindika Punyang Tang Anumoditwa Chirang Rakantu Loka Sasana Etta Vata Jamehi Sampadan Punya Sampadan Sabbe Deva Anumodantu Sabasambati Siddhya Idang me nyatinang hotu sugita hontu nyatayo. Idang me nyatinang hotu sugita hontu nyatayo. Idang me nyatinang hotu sugita hontu nyatayo. Devo satukalena sasa sampati hetu cha Vito bhavatu loko cha raja bhavatu dhammiko imina punyang kamina mame bala samagamo sattang samagamo hotu yava nivana patiya sadhu sadhu sadhu. Okay, you all can now pay respect mindfully to Lord Buddha, Kuan Yin Bodhisattva, and all the worthy ones. Then we end. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.